The Kremlin is in a death spiral, turning on itself in an explosive internal crisis far worse than any battlefield setback. Kyiv-based national security strategist Jason J. Smart said this. According to him, this isn't just a military failure for Putin, but a vicious civil war erupting within the security and military factions of the Russian government. A new phase of the war is unfolding in Moscow, where the state security service is directly at war with the military. This internal conflict is a direct result of Russia's failing war effort and a shrinking budget which starves the front lines and corrupt systems that fund the regime. The fighting between the FSB and the Russian military is intensifying. Both sides have damaging information on the other. This deep-seated corruption, centralized and controlled by Vladimir Putin, is now devouring his own regime from the inside out. With Russia's economy in freefall, even major state enterprises can't pay their staff. Battlefield failures and budget shortages create a panicked scramble for power among Moscow's elite. Putin himself seems unaware of the true gravity of this internal struggle, which is far more dangerous to his rule than any external enemy. The corruption that once served him is becoming the very weapon that may lead to the end of the Putin regime, said Jason J. Smart. Recall Federal Security Service, or FSB, Russian Internal Security and Counterintelligence Service, created in 1994 as one of the successor agencies of the Soviet-era KGB. It is responsible for counterintelligence, anti-terrorism and surveillance of the military. The FSB occupies the former headquarters of the KGB in Lubyanka Square in downtown Moscow. The FSB, the largest security service in Europe, is extremely effective at counterintelligence. Human rights activists, however, have claimed that it has been slow to shed its KGB heritage, and there have been allegations that it has manufactured cases against suspected dissidents and used threats to recruit agents. At the end of the 1990s, critics charged that the FSB had attempted to frame Russian academics involved in joint research with Western arms control experts. Since the start of Moscow's full-scale war in Ukraine, officers from Russia's Federal Security Service have killed at least 65 people during arrest operations in Russia and 4 more in the occupied part of Ukraine's Zaporizhia region, according to journalists at the independent outlet iStories. At least 44 of those killed in Russia were Russian citizens. Another 9 were identified by the FSB as nationals of unspecified Central Asian countries, while 2 were Kazakhstani citizens, 1 was Ukrainian, and 1 was Belarusian.
The Ukrainian army has struck another position of the occupying Russian forces located in a forested area. As a result of the explosion and fire that followed the strike, the occupiers' bunkers, ammunition depots, personal belongings, and equipment spread across the area were burned and destroyed. Footage from the site was recorded and shared by Russian soldiers themselves. The occupier troops said they were unable to save either their ammunition or personal belongings from the fire, which left them facing serious difficulties. It should be noted that the Ukrainian army regularly launches drone and artillery strikes on the occupiers' positions in forested areas, causing fires. As a result, the Russian army suffers significant losses of equipment and ammunition and is forced to abandon those positions.
Вот сгорел блиндаж полностью. Возле склада. Вот это все пепел. Он еще дымится. Вот. Вот все сгорели. Печки, огнетушители. Это склад у нас был. Все сгорело. Генераторы. Вообще все. Тут столько было одежды. Еще засыпало. Тоже дымится еще. Все сгорело. Вот здесь, кстати, этот склад, возле этого склада вы были, вот, который я снимал. Вот этот большой блиндаж. Это яма. Вот еще сгорел медпункт наш. Медпункт сгорел. Тоже еще шает, он шает сейчас. Блин, у нас даже лопат нету. Все пепел. Пепел, все пепел. Тоже пепел. Сгоревшие генераторы не успели даже. Оси. Это все пепел. Кто? Да. Все. ВПКшку успели вытащить. Нету массы сетей даже накрыть. Все сгорело. Да, все пепел, пепел. Да, тут же склад был второй. Вот это все такие барханы, песок с пеплом. А вот склад сгорел. Да. Вот этот склад сгорел второй. Он еще шает на многих местах. Тоже сгорел, осыпался. Да, и там сейчас еще посмотрим. Пойдем. Зато песок какой твердый стал. И нас видно. Его блиндаж. Он сгорел. Вот этот не достроили. Вон везде дым еще. И вот тут вот блиндаж сейчас сгорел. -то. Одна печка осталась с трубой. Деревья все обожжены. Оно потом ветром по верхушкам прямо шло, и с верхушек аж прямо кидалось как бы огнем. Все дальше, дальше, дальше. И потом ветер начался.